Verity.
No! I'm smiling now!
That's great. What do I do? I know what to do. Oh, Verity! Oh, Verity!
Yes.
Sorry, bro.
Have you seen my baby? She's not a day nor a lady. Not in the way she walks, the way she talks, or the way she loves me. Just look at me, I'm like a monkey. She's wild, she's funny, doesn't care about clothes or money. She just cares for me, she's all I need, she's my gal.
You can't come in here right now.
She speaks too loud and laughs too hard and she drinks too much.
Something is coming in 3 days. Something is coming in 3 days. Something. Yes, you could have.
That won't help. I know where your base is. It's already over, Mob! You're mine! Mob!
.16, twice the legal limit. Leo shrank in his seat. The smirk was long gone, replaced by a look of pure panic. But that's not the most interesting part of this report, Judge Thompson said. He looked directly at me. This report also includes a summary of Mr. Jack Jensen's service record. It details his role as a senior threat analyst for grace and precision under extreme pressure. He put the paper down and leaned forward, his eyes burning into my parents. The safe little job you so casually dismissed involves a level of security clearance this entire case to the district attorney's office for criminal prosecution on charges of assault with a deadly weapon and obstruction of justice. The gavel came down with a crack that made everyone jump. And Mr. Leo Jensen, the judge added, his voice cold as ice, I suggest you get a very, very good criminal lawyer. CTA moment. This was the moment. The moment the lies shattered and the truth, in all its brutal clarity, came to light. This was the moment I finally took back my own life. Thank you for staying with me until this point. You are incredible. If you could, please help me out by liking this video and commenting the number 1 down below, just so I know you made it here with me. It doesn't just it lets me know that what I went through means something to someone else. Your support is the single biggest reason I can continue to share the rest of this journey. The aftermath was chaos. 2 bailiffs moved easily, their movements calm and practiced. One of them pulled out a pair of handcuffs. The metallic click echoed in the stun. The arrogance, the confidence, the lifelong certainty that he could do no wrong. It all evaporated in an instant, replaced by the terrified, bewildered look of a child who had finally been told, no. Wait, he stammered, looking at his father. Dad? Richard was frozen, his face a mask of disbelief. He looked from Leo to the judge to me, as if he couldn't process the reality of the situation. But Eleanor broke. The spell was shattered. She lunged forward, grabbing Leo's arm as the bailiff tried to cuff him. No, you can't do this. He's my son. It was an accident. She shrieked, her voice shrill and hysterical. The bailiff gently but firmly removed her hand. Ma'am, please step back. She turned her desperate eyes on me. All pretense was gone. This was raw primal. Jack, please, tell them to stop. You can't do this to him. He's your brother. Please, he didn't mean it. Her words washed over me. He's your brother. The same brother who had plunged a screwdriver into my shoulder. The same brother whose actions she had laughed at. I looked at her, at this woman who was my mother, and I felt nothing. The part of me that had craved her love and approval for so long was a hollowed-out crater. There was nothing left for her pleas to latch onto. I stood up. Clara put a steady hand on my arm. I gave her a small nod to let her know I was okay. Jack, don't you walk away from me. Eleanor screamed as I turned towards the courtroom doors. We need to talk. We're a family. I didn't look back. I didn't slow my pace. With every step I took, I could feel the invisible chains that had bound me to them for 29 years falling away. I walked past Ben, who was staring at the floor, his face ashen. I walked past Aunt Carol, who looked utterly horrified. I walked past all the ghosts of the past and pushed open the heavy doors. The noise of the courthouse hallway rushed in, a welcome wave of normalcy. I didn't stop walking until I was outside, on the steps, breathing in free, open air. The sun was bright, and I had to squint. For the first time, it didn't feel like an interrogation light. It felt like a new beginning. Behind me, I could still hear the faint sound of my mother screaming my name. But for the first time in my life, it had no power over me. A few days later, I was back in my temporary apartment, packing a few things I had. Clara had called. The DA was pressing charges. Leo was out on bail, paid for by Richard, but he was facing a serious felony conviction. I opened the door. She looked terrible. Her eyes were red and swollen. Her hair was a mess. The carefully constructed facade of the perfect matriarch was gone. Jack, she said, her voice hoarse. Can I come in? I didn't invite her in. I stepped into the hallway, closing the door behind me. I against the frame, crossing my arms. What do you want, Eleanor? The use of her first name made her flinch. I want to talk, she pleaded. This has all gone too far. Your father and I, we've been talking. We're willing to help you. Start a trust fund. Help you get a fresh start somewhere else. Just once in my entire life. You never
Verity?
saw me. You only saw Leo's brother. The weird one. The serious one. The dramatic one. I took a step closer, and for the first time, she looked afraid of me. I needed you to be proud of me. I just needed you to be my mother. And when I needed you most, you failed. I turned and put my hand on the doorknob. So no, I said, looking back at her one last time, I will not have charges. This isn't about family anymore. This is about consequences. I walked back into my apartment and closed the door, locking it behind me. Quiet. But it was mine. I had a small circle of friends from work, people who respected me for my mother. It was from my old neighborhood, but it wasn't from my family. The name on it was Martha Gable. Took me a moment to place it. Mrs. Gable, the elderly woman who lived next door, who was always tending her roses. My hands trembled slightly as I opened it. Her handwriting was shaky, the writing of someone who had spent a long time thinking about what to say. It began. And a conscience that would not let me rest. I am so terribly sorry. On the night you were hurt, I was awake. My husband's cough was bad, and I was up getting him some water. My kitchen window faces yours. I heard the shouting. I am ashamed to say I listened. I heard your brother say terrible, cruel things to you, and then I heard the crash, and I heard you cry out. It was a sound of real pain that frightened me. I wanted to call the police. I reached for the phone, but then I heard your parents. I heard them tell you to stop being dramatic, and I heard your mother laugh. In that moment, I was a coward. The Jensens were a powerful family in the neighborhood. Your stepfather had a lot of influence. I was afraid of getting involved. I went back to bed and pretended I had heard nothing. I read about the trial in the paper. I read that you got justice, and I was so relieved. But my silence has haunted me every day for this past year. I am writing to you now not to ask for your forgiveness, because I don't deserve it, but to tell you that you weren't crazy. You weren't being dramatic. I heard it. I know the truth. And I will live with the shame of my cowardice for the rest of my days. I hope you have found peace. Sincerely, Martha Gable. I read the letter twice, then the third time. I sank down into a chair, the piece of paper shaking in my hand. It was an external confirmation of everything I knew to be true. Another voice in the universe that validated my reality. I wasn't seeking